From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. By Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles in Rockville Center, Long Island's go-to store for sports, entertainment, and political memorabilia since 1996. They're also available for charity auctions. Mention Sports Bash when you come in. Get a free autographed photo. Give Warren a call at 516-826-4000. Stay tuned later in the show to find out about the Living Legends item of the week. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more info, give a look at the Marty Lyons Foundation at martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Well, a good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm Peter Schwartz. 516-465-3990 is the number to call here on Sports Bash. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast and Sports Bash Media on YouTube and following us on Facebook and Instagram. Big show for you today. Coming up later in the show, I'll be joined by NFL Media senior national columnist Judy Batista. She's also the co-host of The Insiders on NFL Network. We're going to play Stump the Wiz. That's right. It's Thursday. We're going to play Stump the Wiz, and we'll try to give away tickets to something to somebody. Now, the Wiz is struggling. Is it 3 weeks in a row or 2 weeks in a row that you've gotten stumped?
Well,
don't say too much. It's a yes or no answer. I think it's 2 weeks in a row. Right, Tony? I think it's 2 weeks.
I'm going with two. At least two, yes.
It's at least 2 weeks in a row that you've been stumped.
Well, yeah, but still, when it came to, there were several things, I got most of it right, though.
Right.
So.
And here was the thing also, before I get ahead with the rest of the show. On Tuesday, I don't know if you were watching Tuesday's show, but I had indicated to Tony that I had a question sent in, approved by the committee. It was a 6-part answer to the question.
Ooh.
Right. So, and I was talking with Tony on the show. I'm like, do we make Wiz have to answer all 6?
Yes.
Right? Yes. Because you're a mean son of a bitch over there. See, that's it. So that's I like. It's a democracy around here. You know this. You've been with the show for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
It's not a dictatorship. It's a democracy. So I said, maybe we just have him answer 4 of the 6. And then Tony goes, no, it's got to be 6. I said, what if we maybe he has to answer 5 parts of the question. And then he said, no, 6. And I'm like, you're right, 6. But then I had a really good day yesterday. My whole family had a really good day yesterday. So I'm kind of in the giving mood today.
Okay.
So I found a different question that was submitted.
Okay.
There's only 4 parts to it.
Okay.
And you have to answer all 4 of them, but that's not until later in the show.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Sounds fine.
So hang in there. We'll get to you in a little
Don't
while.
worry. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
So we are going to play Stump the Wiz. We'll take a look at this week in sports history, and we'll check out the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. I really wanted to start the show today on an upbeat note because just good stuff happened yesterday, and good stuff is happening. But unfortunately, we got the sad news this morning that the legendary baseball personality, a former major leaguer, a longtime broadcaster, and just a true ambassador of the game of baseball, Bob Uecker, passed away at the age of 90. Now, if you're a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers, obviously this is, listen, it's a massive loss for the entire sport, but obviously for people in Milwaukee, this is just a really, really sad day because he has been such a big part of that franchise for such a long time. And also remember, for people around the country, Bob Uecker also did network television broadcasts as well. So it's, he endeared himself to generations and generations of baseball fans of all ages. Now, I'm old enough because, as you know, I'm 57. I'm an old fart. So I grew up with the old beer commercials, the Miller Lite commercials, and I'm got to be sitting in the front row, and Bob Uecker's got a ticket all the way up in the upper deck, and just a real character and just a really great ambassador for the game of baseball, and he's going to be missed so much. So, on behalf of everybody at Sports Bash, deepest condolences to Bob Uecker and his family, friends, and the entire Milwaukee Brewers organization. It's a very sad day, but I'm sure if he could get the message to all of us, he would, I'm sure, prefer that instead of being sad about his passing, that we celebrate his life and what he meant to the game of baseball. So I think we need to do that. I mentioned the beer commercials. They were hysterical, absolutely funny. You watch him and listen to him do a baseball game. And I'm very fortunate with what I do for a living outside of here, working at WFAN and working what was formerly CBS Sports Radio, now Infinity Sports Network, but doing updates and playing sound bites and play-by-play calls from other games and not just being focused on New York. They're not New York-centric updates. It's a whole national network. So I get to play play-by-play highlights of, play-by-play guys from all around the country. And every time inevitably when I come into work at night, I would always, I hope the Brewers did something, as long as it's not against the Yankees or the Mets, right? I hope the Brewers did something, like a walk-off home run or something like that, so I can play Bob Uecker's highlight of the game. And it was always something I look for. There were certain play-by-play guys that even as an update guy, you get attached to because, boy, the update will sound just so much better if Bob Uecker, if it was an exciting play-by-play call. And he was great. It was phenomenal. And not every former player can become a good play-by-play guy, A lot of former players become analysts. They can't do play-by-play. And Bob Uecker was able to do it, and he did it great. And he did it so great that he was picked to have a major role, no pun intended, in the movie Major League, and subsequently Major League 2. So he played the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians, but then it was the Cleveland Indians. Harry Doyle was the broadcaster's name in the movie. And I was telling Tony before we got on the air, I remember I was in college at Buffalo State, and the movie was coming out. And me and three friends desperately wanted to see the movie the first day it came out. Now, I didn't have a car at that point yet in college. And I had to do my sports talk show on my college radio station at 6 o'clock that night. The movie we were going to go see, I think it was supposed to start at 8 or 8:30, something like that. But I had to do my show first. And then there were four of us. One had a car. We had to wait for the guy who had the car to meet us at the station. The four of us get in his car. And the really nice movie theater, which was in a suburb of Buffalo, I want to say it was Tonawanda. I don't remember exactly, but it was Tonawanda, Cheektowaga, one of those. Maybe it was Amherst, whatever it was a really nice suburb of Buffalo. And we got to the movie, and I remember that movie is so funny, and I laugh as hard when I watch it today, as long as it's not the cut version. You have to watch the uncut version, and Bradley was younger the first time he watched it, but I made sure he watched it when it was on MLB Network so that the certain scenes and words he didn't hear, now he can hear it. Even Jared too. I mean, I think 14 is old enough, right?
Yes.
To watch the unedited version of Major League. Absolutely. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, it's just a great, funny movie. So, and I remember peeing in my pants laughing at that movie that night, and it's still to this day. How the lines in that movie are just so hysterical. But for today, we're going to focus on Bob Uecker and Harry Doyle. And before I came here to the studio, and I have to thank Tony again, because Tony Walker does yeoman's work producing the show and making sure everything gets on in the right fashion. But at the last minute, I found this YouTube video with some of Harry Doyle, Bob Uecker's funniest moments in Major League, and I wanted to play that for everybody right now.
Top of the ninth, leading 10-7. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Rick Vaughn has come on to try and nail it down against Felipe Aguilar, a dangerous right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. Oh, shit.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close? Hello again, everybody. Harry Doyle here, welcoming all you friends of the feather to another season of Indians baseball. A lot of new faces in Chief Wahoo's tribe this year as they take on the defending American League champs, the New York Yankees. And hopefully we'll have some of the names that go with those faces before their first at-bat. Anyway, listen to the roar of the crowd as the Indians take the field. Yes, sir, they love this club here in Cleveland. Just a reminder, fans, about Die Hard Night coming up here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won a pennant.
Today I'm using Upwork to hire.
I mean, just unbelievable. And that's just a taste. I remember there was a second, there was a third one, but that movie was just downright dog crap. But the second movie was not as funny as the first, but still very funny. Yeah. And he was just, I mean, there were so many great performances in both movies. But Bob Uecker was so funny. And again, I wanted to make sure that we have, as sad as we are as baseball fans of his passing today, I wanted to make sure we laughed a little bit about Bob Uecker and just a wonderful ambassador to the game of baseball. And he will sorely be missed. Passed away today at the age of 90. I wanted to start the show on an up note until we found out about Bob Uecker's passing, so we wanted to make sure we took care of that. But yesterday was a very special day here on Long Island, and I was so honored and privileged to be a part of the launch of a new arena football team here on Long Island. The Entertainment Football Association is going to start in 2025 this year with 4 teams. They had already announced New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. And yesterday, we launched the Long Island franchise. I was very honored that I was asked by the league to be their team advisor as a consultant for a month to help build and get to the press conference yesterday. And I have to tell you, when you ask people for help and you ask people to be a part of something, you know how quickly how respected you are by people when you see the crowd that we had at the Coliseum yesterday in the VIP lounge. And we're showing some pictures, my ugly face up at the podium, talking. We had Andre Reed, who's the commissioner of the of the Entertainment Football Association. There's a photo of me, and you know him from watching him on Fox News. Big Daddy Rich Salgado, Mike Nelson, who's a lacrosse legend here on Long Island, was there yesterday. So many local leaders, businesses. Tommy Benizio, who is the league advisor, who brought me in along with the owner and the founder of the league, Doug Freeman, and it was just wonderful. I want to say we probably wound up having over 70 people, including Tony Walker, who was there yesterday on behalf of Governor's Comedy Club podcast. So just a tremendous turnout. The season is going to start in June. June 7th is going to be the home opener at Nassau Coliseum. It's an 8-game season, 4 home, 4 away. And people have heard me talk about this before, but the best job I ever had was working for the New York Dragons for 8 years, being their radio play-by-play announcer, sometimes TV, and working in the front office. And that ended in 2008. And for that to come back now all these years later, with a really great business plan and so much community support behind it, I tell you, I was overwhelmed because there were people I knew I wanted to ask to come. there were people that were suggested to invite. I'm like, these people, some of these community leaders don't know me from a hole in the wall. And they were there because it was something that's good for Long Island and something that's good for Nassau County and the town of Hempstead. Bruce Blakeman, our county executive, was there for a little bit yesterday. And it's one of those things where, you know, my wife likes to have a saying, sometimes it's better to pick your friends than pick your family because you really know who your true friends are. When something like it doesn't take very long to create a friendship. Like, you can know right away. It's kind of like, you fall in love with a girl. Like, my wife and I, you meet, you fall in love, you get married, yada, yada, 2 kids, a mortgage, car payments, and, college tuition, and everything works out great, right? But it's also the same as being, forging a friendship. And I'm so delighted that I had so many people that were there yesterday. You can know in 5 minutes if you connect with somebody as a friend. Just like you can connect with somebody you'd like to you date or marry one day, you can connect. So whether, people that, that I knew, like the Rich Salgados of the world and Rich Lopez from Nassau County PAL was there yesterday. You connect with them right away and you can be friends. Tony, you know what? You knew right away I didn't like him. But it was a wonderful event yesterday. Andre Reed was on the show on Tuesday. And really excited and hoping to have a role with the franchise going forward now that the team is up and running, and we'll see where we go from there. But I on the subject of Rich Lopez, who has promised to be an FOP and come in here one day. What was that? What was? See, I remember he's the guy who wanted Wiz to have to answer 6 questions,
That's
right? Yeah. So
I represented governors at this event yesterday, which I had a great time. Yeah. But I am also the president of the PAL Special Needs Unit.
Yes.
So I was there. Rich Lopez is quote unquote my boss.
Oh yeah.
So he discussed me, and I think it's horrible that he'll be in here. Totally joking around. Well,
Rich is a great guy, and I've had a wonderful opportunity to become
awesome.
Friends with him. Awesome. He's great, and we were glad to have him there. Now, so he told me that he was going to the Orange Bowl a few days ago when Notre Dame played Penn State, and I found out he was going. And I went around Long Island, dropping off the invitations to people to come. You got a football, and other people that were there got a football, which was the pseudo invitation to go. So Rich was not around; he was in Florida, going to the Orange Bowl. So I dropped off his football, and then yesterday he comes in and he hands me this bag, right? This bag of PAL goodies. It's a PAL backpack, right? He goes, your program is in there, because I asked him for a program from the Orange Bowl. So in this bag, and I thought this would be a good idea to just see what's in this bag, right?
Nice.
So here's the program from the Orange Bowl, which is nice, right?
That's cool.
By the way, you got one of these, right?
I did not.
Oh, you did not get one of these?
They ran out. There were so many people there that they ran out.
Well, here you go. This was the media packet. I had one for you, too. I just forgot to bring an extra one.
It's fine.
Oh, cool.
Love seeing Nassau Coliseum represented.
There you go. So you take that one.
Thank you very much.
As long as I didn't leave any cash in there. You can have that one.
That's why I said thanks.
So here's what else is in this bag from the Nassau County PAL czar, Rich Lopez. This hat.
I got mine
from the
right
PAL.
over there.
I actually had a hat already, so I guess.
How about you? This reminds me of Western Connecticut.
I didn't ask you about it.
I was saying.
Yeah. For some reason, there's an umbrella in here. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come.
Ooh.
There's a T-shirt in here. Let's see. Is it an 18XL? No, it's not. It's a 3XL. I'm going to have to pass this along to somebody else another time. Maybe Bradley will get that, or somebody else will get that. My wife will probably get something that's in here. What do we got? All planner. She can maybe get that. Rich Lopez's card. Do you want this?
That's definitely something I don't want.
Okay. There's a water bottle. What else is in here? What did he give me? Oh, that's my phone charger. He didn't give me that. That I put in the bag. There's a little football. What else is in here? What kind of garbage?
Wow.
Oh, look at this. A bottle opener.
Sweet.
Break open that bottle of champagne.
Rich has a bunch of goodies. Look at
a little flashlight,
nice.
Keychain thing. Wow, this is great. So thank you to Rich Lopez and the Nassau County PAL. Most importantly, for showing up yesterday at our press conference, and also for the continued support of youth sports on Long Island, and just for being a good friend of the show. We got a big show coming up. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Judy Batista from NFL Media and the NFL Network. She's going to join us. We're going to talk some NFL football. We'll see what the Jets are going to do, what the Giants are going to do, other teams, and a big divisional round of games this weekend in the NFL. It's all coming up when Sports Bash returns right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles is the best place to find autographed entertainment and sports memorabilia. We guarantee the authenticity of each and every item in our shop to provide you with quality collectibles anytime you browse our inventory. Our memorabilia includes autographed photos, sports equipment, jerseys, hats, and other paraphernalia from current athletes and legendary sports stars. If you prefer the entertainment industry, we have signed posters, albums, and photographs from classic movie stars and today's celebrities. To give back to our community, we participate in fundraising auctions for local charities. Call us today to request a specific autograph, find a special gift for someone else, or schedule an event. Living Legends Memorabilia and Collectibles.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. And this segment of Sports Bash is presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. A group of like-minded individuals tried to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Big weekend of NFL football. It's the divisional round. Many people, will say that it's the best weekend of the NFL playoffs. There's also a lot of coaching news to get to. We welcome in NFL Media senior national columnist and the co-host of the Insiders on NFL Network, my good friend Judy Batista. Judy, it's Peter. How are you?
Peter, great to see you.
Great to have you on the... I apologize for the sore throat. Let me take a little drink of water and we'll get back to this. So let me start with the Jets first. And I think they've interviewed everybody on the planet for their GM job, for their head coaching job, for whatever. I don't know if they've interviewed you. They haven't interviewed me.
I feel kind of bad that they haven't at this point.
Right. But they've interviewed everybody. It appears that Aaron Glenn seems to be the leading candidate to be the head coach. But I've always felt like you should hire the GM first. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Where do you see the Jets GM search right now as we stand on this Thursday?
It looks like they're going to start narrowing the field of GM candidates, and start doing second interviews as we get towards the end of the week here and then into early next week, because I do think you're right. I mean, I think you want to at least have some input from the general manager on where you're headed in the head coach. It has been an exhaustive search. I think, when you interview this many people, on the one hand, it's good because you get a lot of different perspectives, right? And you're casting a wide net. And on the other hand, the thing you worry about is that, what are you targeting? Like, do you have a clear picture in mind of what you want in your head coach? But I do think as they, if they narrow things down with the general manager and start, honing in on who they want as the general manager, then I think you can go forward in the head coach process. Don't forget, the head coach, the hiring process in the NFL now has slowed down dramatically. It's just not like it used to be, 10 years ago when a team would fire a head coach and hire another head coach 3 days later. Right. The league has put all kinds of rules into place to slow things down on purpose, to get teams to look at more candidates, maybe people they weren't familiar with. And so, in some cases, depending on who they might like and who they might want to talk to in person, if you want to come in for a second interview and bring them into the building, they're going to have to wait anyway. I mean, if, Aaron Glenn is somebody they really want to talk to and bring into the building, well, you're not going to be able to bring him into the building until either the Lions are eliminated if they lose this week, or the bye week before the Super Bowl. So, this could be a while. So the fact that that part is taking a long time is not indicative of anything, and it's not alarming. I mean, of all the openings we have in the NFL, there's been only one hire, the one in New England. So that part's not the problem. I think it's going to be interesting to see how quickly they start to narrow things down, though.
But it would make me seem a little bit, if Aaron Glenn is truly the Jets' number one choice and they're willing to wait for the Lions either to be out or to get to the Super Bowl and they have that bye week, like you said, it would almost seem to me like the Jets might just want to focus right now on getting the GM hired and finding out who, if they say to the candidates, we really like Aaron Glenn, is that somebody you would want to hire, or is that somebody you could work with? It almost seems as if that's the direction they should be going in right now.
Well, presumably that's part of even the initial conversations is, what coaching candidate, what coach do you like? What do you like in a head coach? What would you be looking for? I mean, one thing I think is important is for the Jets themselves, Woody Johnson, the owner, who's obviously going to make this decision, like to define what they want in a head coach. That is something that trips up teams. They fire a head coach and then they can't really pin down, like, what is it they want? Like, do you want an offensive play caller type? Do you want somebody who has previous head coaching experience? Is that not something that you care about? Is it okay to hire somebody with no head coaching experience? Are you interested in somebody from the college ranks? Like, often you see owners are unable to define exactly what they're looking for, and that really muddies the water, because then you're just sort of casting about all over the place. So I think those are conversations that you have with the potential GMs is, well, what do you like in a head coach? What coaches out there would you be interested in bringing in here? And then you see if that lines up with what the Jets side is thinking.
It's just amazing, Judy. We're talking to Judy Battista from NFL Media here on Sports Bash. You go back a long time. We go back a long time to spending days in the Hofstra press room, covering the Jets back in the day. And except for a couple of years where they make the playoffs and maybe they make a little bit of a splash, it's unbelievable how they just, for the most part, never get anything right. And you just wonder, could this finally be the time that maybe Woody listens to the right people and makes the right hire and then stays out of the way? Or is this just a guy that just can't help himself and want to have his hands all over everything?
It's funny because I think about, like, we probably, and Jets fans probably did not realize how good they had it with the Herm Edwards years. But you went to the playoffs during those years, right? And the teams were competitive, and they were interesting to watch. And then the Rex Ryan years, right, where you went to 2 straight AFC Championship games. Like, that's hard to do. And
yeah,
to think that there's been nothing since then is just sort of shocking. I think, listen, I think Woody has obviously been frustrated the last few years. And I understand his frustration. They swung for the fences and made the move for Aaron Rodgers, which at the time looked like a home run, right? Like, I think we all thought, this is great, be aggressive, go get, this is an all-time guy. Even if he's at the, back end of his career because he's older, this is somebody who can elevate the franchise. And you just, the defense was so good and you just need to finally get solid quarterback play. I can remember saying, like, he doesn't even have to be like MVP level Aaron Rodgers. He just has to be sort of like average Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And with that defense, that should have been enough. And of course, it just fell apart in just terrible fashion, right? And so Woody was frustrated. He was frustrated at the end of last season, and obviously has been very frustrated this season. And so I think he wants very badly to win. And I think the key here is going to be getting a general manager and head coach that he trusts and who he thinks immediately is doing a good job. And then, owners are involved with their teams. I think we see that increasingly around the league. There are very few owners who totally step back and don't voice their opinions on personnel anymore, for better or worse. And it's the owner's prerogative if that's what they want to do. And you just have to hope that the general manager is good at his job at identifying people, and that the head coach is going to be good at his job at developing somebody if they get a young quarterback in. Like, that's the thing. Those are the key jobs. They have to get these hires right, or they're just going to be stuck in this cycle again.
It's kind of like the scene. I'm sure you've seen the movie My Cousin Vinny, where Marissa Tomei's character is on the stand and she's talking to the jury. It's kind of like you're driving a car and you're spinning your wheels in the mud in Alabama.
Yeah.
And I'm transparent about everything. You know how big of a Jet fan I am. It's kind of like the Jets for 50 years have been spinning their wheels in the mud of Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a bad stretch here. There's no question. And again, to think that like those Herm Edwards years, which fans were frustrated because they couldn't get any further, that was close to the high water mark. The Rex Ryan years, that was the high water mark, and they haven't come anywhere near that since.
No.
I am curious, as somebody who's covered a lot of this part of it, like I'm really curious to see if they go in an entirely different direction, because most of their hires have been first-time general managers, first-time head coaches. Adam Gase was obviously a second go-around head coach, but for the most part, they've had a pattern since Woody owned the team, since Woody got the team. So I'm curious to see if they break that pattern, or if they like candidates enough that they can, get over whatever mental block there might be about repeating this.
Before I move on to the rest of the NFL, we stay local with the Giants too. What did you think of them bringing back Joe Shane and Brian Daboll?
I was not surprised by that. I think John Mara really did not want to blow things up again. They've been in a bad cycle of, hiring and firing every 2 or 3 years. And, he knows that's not the way to build any kind of team. Joe Shane had a good draft this year. Really, the draft was good this year. And it's, John Mara said it himself, like Brian Daboll was the coach of the year 2 years ago. I don't think he forgot how to coach.
Right.
You've got to get the quarterback right. I mean, that is the bottom line. They've got to get the quarterback right. And, they're picking third overall. And, I think John Mara trusts that Joe Shane and his group are good evaluators, and that whoever they bring in, whether it is a rookie or a veteran quarterback, that Brian Daboll, who else would you want to develop a quarterback if it's not Brian Daboll, because he can do it. I think you saw that one game that they won near the end of the season, and Daboll said, well, if you get good quarterback play, you can win anything. I mean, that's the bottom line, is they've got to fix the quarterback finally.
Right. And the question will be now, Judy, are the Giants going to fix the quarterback with the draft? Are they going to go out and get a veteran quarterback? Could they do both? I know there were a lot of Giant fans that might have been keeping an eye on Sam Darnold with the Vikings because they had drafted J.J. McCarthy, who was injured for the whole season. But I'm sure that the enthusiasm about Sam Darnold's probably tempered a little bit after the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think you have to, first of all, you have to let the emotion, the recency bias of what we just saw sort of fade a little bit. And, Kevin O'Connell said you've got to look at the full body of work. And obviously, Sam Darnold had a terrific season. In general, those last 2 games, are troubling, because for those of us who watched him at the Jets, he was repeating the things that undid him at the Jets.
He started to see ghosts again.
Yeah, I mean, he was holding the ball too long. He wasn't sure about what he was seeing. He wasn't seeing guys who were open. And so those are the things, and he was errant. I mean, his passes he was not accurate. And so those are the things that he thought were gone, the way he was performing this season, and maybe they're not gone. I think if you're looking at bringing Sam Darnold in, you have to have everything else has to be in place around him, right? I mean, he flourished in Minnesota with 2 spectacular wide receivers there, right? Justin Jefferson is not going anywhere. So he flourished because he had that. He had a terrific coach in Kevin O'Connell, who really knows how to develop and nurture and support quarterbacks. And so you've got to have all of those things in place to give Sam Darnold the best opportunity to be successful. And so I don't know if you would think that he should go to the Giants if that's the best situation. And frankly, after the last 2 games, I don't know how the thinking in Minnesota has changed either. We'll see.
We'll have to see how it all plays out. Judy Batista from NFL Media and NFL Network joining us here on Sports Bash. A few minutes left with her. Big weekend. I said at the top, and a lot of people think that the the divisional round of the playoffs is the best weekend of NFL football of the entire year. I tend to agree with that because we generally see some of the best games. How excited are you for divisional round, and what's a game that you're specifically looking at and have your eyes on?
Well, I am lucky enough that I'm covering the game I can't wait to see, and that's the one in Buffalo with the Ravens and the Bills. That has the potential to be the game of the year, right? The two MVP candidates. I think that whatever order they finish in, I think it'll be 1 and 2.
Right.
And just tremendous running games, and they've been two of the most dominant teams all season long. So that's the game I am most looking forward to. I agree. I think this is the best weekend of football of the year because, we just saw in the wild card round, we all love the playoffs, but I mean, most of the wild card games were lopsided. Now you have gotten out the teams that, had just sort of edged their way into the playoffs. And now you've got, the best teams in there. And so these should be really good games.
Can CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans go into Arrowhead and upset the defending champion Chiefs?
Man, it is a tall order. I mean, first of all, Patrick Mahomes does not lose in the divisional round. He is I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's something like 13 touchdowns and 0 interception in divisional round games. I think he's 6-0 in the divisional round. They're so good. I know, the feeling has been like that they've been winning by the skin of their teeth all season. But that's a skill, right? Like when you're not at your best and you have weaknesses and you're still winning week after week after week, that's a skill, and it also builds up an awful lot of confidence. And I think that's a very tall order for the Texans to go in there and upset the Chiefs. The Chiefs know how to win these games. They were playing better at the end of the season, and the Texans looked good in the playoff game last week. But the Texans did not look good towards the end of the season. So I suspect that the Chiefs will win that game.
While the Chiefs know what it's like to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, being the number 1 seed in anything is not something that the Lions are used to, and they're going to host the Commanders. And I'm just wondering how much pressure the Lions are dealing with now, being in this situation, kind of as the number 1 team for the first time, and they're welcoming in a Commanders team with Jaden Daniels, and I think more so than what I just asked you about the Texans, I think maybe Jaden Daniels and the Commanders have a shot at maybe making history and maybe pulling the upset here in the divisional round.
I don't know. The Lions have been sort of one of the Super Bowl favorites all season long, so they've been dealing with the weight of those expectations. Plus, they've been dealing with the reality that their defense has just been mangled by injuries. And so there's been a lot of pressure on them all along to keep going like this. And they had to keep winning because the Vikings were right on their tail. So I think that probably helped the Lions. They had to keep their feet on the gas all season long. They really could not let up, even in the final game of the regular season, right? They had to win that game to be the number 1 seed.
Right.
It is hard for me to imagine Dan Campbell letting a team get complacent or come down off any sort of emotional peak. Like, he is so good at getting those guys ready. And they have been dominant this year. I mean, the offense is just impossible to stop. The defense has played well. Aaron Glenn has just done a terrific job.
Maybe the future Jets head coach.
Maybe. What he did to Sam Darnold and the Vikings in the final game of the regular season with, half of the defense on injured reserve is a great resume builder. So they're playing really well. And Jaden Daniels has been fantastic, unbelievable, and incredibly cool under pressure. But I think that the Lions are a step up in class even from where the Commanders are right now. And I think the Lions win this game. I'd be surprised, and frankly, I'd be kind of sad if they don't. I think so many of us want to see the Lions make a run at it.
No question. And the only other game I haven't asked about is the Rams at the Eagles. And I got to tell you, I don't trust the Eagles at all. And even in this spot, I just don't. Jalen Hurts is coming off of being hurt. The Rams seem to have their act together after that opening round. To me, I just don't trust the Eagles. I think the Rams go into Philadelphia and win this game. How do you look at it?
Wow. I trust Saquon Barkley. That's going to be a load to stop. The Rams were so impressive last week under just unimaginable conditions. Now they've got a short week. I always worry about when teams are under these unusual conditions. Like, are they emotionally spent? Now they were not last week. They sort of played. They were playing for Los Angeles, right? They had their wits, but you do wonder if at some point, like, the emotional exhaustion sets in. I think the rushing attack of the Eagles is going to be really hard to handle. The Rams are like small up front. That's how they play. So if they can get that running attack going against behind a very, very good offensive line, that's going to be a real challenge for the Rams. I think that game of all the ones, excepting the one in Buffalo, excepting that one, I think this is the game that has the potential to be a close game, and that there's a potential for an upset. And then the Ravens and Bills are in a separate category altogether.
And let me close with this, and I certainly thank you very much for your time today. Mike McCarthy has met with the Bears about their head coaching job. He's obviously a high-profile candidate after being let go by the Cowboys. Does this seem like a match to you, Mike McCarthy coaching the Bears there in Chicago?
I don't know if it's going to turn out this way, but certainly to me, he would fit the criteria, right? This is somebody who works well with quarterbacks. He just got Dak Prescott's best season out of Dak Prescott, right? Like 2 seasons ago. So he has developed quarterbacks in the past. I mean, he was there as part of the group that brought Aaron Rodgers all the way up. So he's, in that respect, he fits the bill, right? This is an experienced head coach. They've gone down the road with inexperienced head coaches before. And I think you saw sort of, the game management issues, that kind of thing. I said there's something to be said for experience in that role. And goodness knows he has beaten the Bears a lot in his career when he was in Green Bay. Undoubtedly, they know that in Chicago. So I do think he checks an awful lot of boxes for them. But I think it's just the beginning. I mean, right, Mike McCarthy just left Dallas only a few days ago. And so I think we'll see how this shakes out. He's got connections to the Saints as well. And we'll see what the Bears have also conducted a very broad search. So I think we'll see as things start to narrow down here and, the next few weeks or so, as coordinators become available when their teams get eliminated, we'll start to get a better idea of where the Bears are going.
She is the NFL Media Senior National Columnist and the co-host of The Insiders on NFL Network. Judy Battista, thank you so much, my friend, for joining me here on the show. I apologize for the coughing explosion at the beginning. I hope that didn't derail you at all. So
Not at all.
I'm going to go finish my bottle of water and get on with the rest of the show. But thank you very much.
Great to see you, Peter. Take care.
Awesome, Judy. Thank you so much. Well, that was awesome. Great spot with Judy, and catch her stuff. I was just about to do it again. NFL Network and also NFL Media Online. Still more to come. We've got Stump the Wiz, This Week in Sports History, poll question. It's all coming up when we come back after I get another drink of water here on Sports Bash.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17, And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyWyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome back to the show. We thank Judy Battista from NFL Media and NFL Network for joining us, talk a little Jets and Giants, and we went around the NFL, so we thank Judy, and please catch her stuff on her written articles on NFL Media, and also catch her on the Insiders on NFL Network. Wiz is here. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing really, really good, Peter, and I hope you're having a really fine Thursday.
Well, except for coughing up a storm and half of my lung, yeah, everything is fine. Yeah.
Well, besides that, but yeah, hopefully things are going good.
Yeah, things are, I have no real complaints about anything, but
except the coughing?
Except the cough, that's really it. You're about to try to stump the Wiz here.
Okay.
How do you feel about the last couple of weeks?
Mixed results, to put it
lightly. No, it's not mixed results. You got stumped the last 2 weeks. Not mixed results.
I got some of the answers of the questions right.
Yeah, but you still ultimately didn't get the
answer. Yes, that's true, but I'm trying to see the positives and see if I can build on those positives.
So you heard me say at the beginning we were going to have a 6-part question.
Okay.
And Tony is a pain in the ass, and he wanted me to ask all 6. I wanted to give you 4. Asked for just 4, and we were going to settle on 5. And then it kind of like, yesterday I was kind of like, I was feeling in a really good mood with the press conference yesterday and all that stuff. And so I came up with a better solution.
Okay.
A 4-part answer to the question. Right? How about that? Who's calling? Oh, Glenn Goldstein's calling. We'll get to him in a little bit. Okay? But it's first time to play Stump the Wiz.
Okay.
And Stump the Wiz, what we do here is we give Wiz 2 minutes to answer a question, right? And if you submitted your question and you stumped the Wiz, you win a prize. Mm-hmm. Today's prize, 2 tickets to the Entertainment Football Association Long Island franchise home opener on Saturday, June 7th at Nassau Coliseum.
Can I ask a question?
Are you going to ask me for free tickets?
No, not that.
You could.
No, not that.
Don't ask me.
What will the name of the team
be?
I'm
not. No, I asked you to ask me for free tickets.
Oh, I wasn't going to ask that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to bust balls, and it's backfiring on me, Tony. He's not playing along.
That's what happens when you try to bust.
What do you want to ask me?
That was what I wanted to ask.
What?
What will the team? What is?
We don't know yet.
I guess you can't use.
We're gonna have a name the team contest.
Ooh!
But stay tuned.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
But stay tuned. It's the poll question of the day.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give away 2 tickets to the home opener for the new Long Island Arena football team on June 7th, Nassau Coliseum. Today's contestant is Michael Frank from Queens.
Okay.
And here's what Michael wants to do.
Okay.
Tony's gonna have 2 minutes set on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Name the 4 men who have won a Super Bowl as both a player and a head coach. 4 men have won a Super Bowl as a player and a head coach. Tony's got 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
Forrest Gregg's been to a Super Bowl as a coach, but he didn't win.
That's correct. He's not one of them. So no, that's incorrect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Belichick obviously was too old to be a player by that point,
right.
But he was an assistant for several years. Sean McVay is a young guy, but he was never a head coach. Obviously, Mike McCarthy.
This is not football talk with Wiz. This is Stump the
Mike
Wiz.
Ditka.
So we need you to answer the question.
Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka is 1. You've got 1.
Mike Ditka is an obvious one.
Yes. Cowboys and Bears.
Technically, John Madden. No. John Madden never was a player, but he played for the Eagles very briefly. But then he got hurt.
Right.
I Let's see.
Can you do that again? That was a good sound effect. There you go. Very good. We're looking 1 minute to go. We're looking for 4 men who have won a Super Bowl as a player and a head coach. You've got Mike Ditka.
What's his name?
I know. You tell me.
Gary Kubiak.
That's incorrect.
Oh, that's right. He won as an assistant. Gary Kubiak. Let's see. Gruden was never a player. I'm trying to also think too. Tony Dungy.
Tony Dungy is number 2. You got 2 of the 4.
Tony
How
Dungy.
much time left?
You got 35 seconds.
35 seconds.
Let's see. Tom Coughlin was never a player, so not him. Mike Tomlin was never a player.
Mike Frank is 30 seconds away from going to see the first ever game.
Not Mike
the
McCarthy.
Entertainment
Not Tom
Football
Coughlin.
Association. You're talking over me, Wiz.
Mike Holmgren? I don't
No.
think so. No, not him.
15 seconds to go.
Okay. I'm going through the whole Rolodex.
Do you have this much trouble when you're doing the Trivia Tuesday, Tony?
Yes, I do.
You do.
Yes,
5
I do.
seconds to go.
I'm trying to think here. Tom Flores.
Tom Flores is 3.
Okay.
Time's up.
Oh! Do you want 5 seconds of overtime? I'll give you. I'm going to be in a nice mood today. You want 5 seconds of overtime?
5 seconds of overtime?
Yep.
Sure.
Didn't do you any good.
No.
So you got Tom Flores, who won as a head coach with the Raiders, player as a chief. Mike Ditka won as a player with the Cowboys, head coach with the Bears.
That's correct, yeah.
You got Tony Dungy, who won as a player with the Steelers.
Right, he was a Steeler. He was
and
the reason
head coach with the Colts.
He's the reason why Donnie Shell made the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
and
true.
the one you missed was Doug Peterson, who won as a player with the Packers and as a head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I almost forget him as a Packer, honestly. I think of him more as like an Eagles player and as a Brown, one of the Browns' first starting quarterbacks. They've had over like 30 since they came back in 99.
There you go. So we congratulate Michael Frank from Queens. He's going to see the first ever home game for the Entertainment Football Association Long Island franchise Saturday, June 7th at Nassau Coliseum with the team name still to be determined. Let's go to the phone lines at 516-465-3990. We'll welcome in our good friend Glenn from Flushing. Glenn, what's up?
Hey, Pete. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing good. We're all doing good except for my little coughing fit. Everybody's good.
How you doing, Glenn?
Oh, yes. I missed that. I got to rewind.
Glenn didn't call to speak to you. He called to speak to me.
I just want to say hi to him.
It's okay. I'll handle that.
That was a tough one, Vinny. That was real tough. I don't think I would have got that one.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to vote in the poll. How about this one? And Vinny, tickets would appreciate it. The New York Bash.
The New York Bash? Well, see, that's who you want the new team to be named? It's not one of the choices I have on the poll today.
No, I'm going to go other. I'll go other, and I know how to do other.
Did you see the poll online already?
Oh yeah, I'm a VIP on this show.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know why you. Okay, so all right. So you're gonna go with Bash, right? I'm gonna write you in as a Bash. Did you
do it right after this phone call?
You're gonna do
it
on the phone.
Vinny tickets could have it'll be great advertising for Ticket Bash.
Right, and hopefully that's a name that will resonate and people will buy tickets to see the. You like it?
I like it.
The New York Bash or the Long Island Bash?
Long Island Bash.
Oh, yeah, maybe Long Island Bash. Yeah, that would be.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Well, we're going to have, after you get off the phone, we're going to have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day.
Right. I have to say, I think, with the Jets PR thing going on, it's hilarious every day. The Jets have interviewed so-and-so. I think the only guys they haven't interviewed was you and the two Vinnies for the job.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
I declined an interview. I don't want to work. I don't want to work for Woody.
So what is your feeling? Are they going in one direction? I know they just interviewed Arthur Smith. I think that was the latest.
Yeah, Glenn, they've been on a 50-year going in the wrong direction anyway. So I can't even sit here as someone who covered the team for a long time, as a fan of the team my whole life. I just don't know what's going to happen. I've given up trying to figure it out. Just for selfish reasons, I want them to hire Matt Nagy as the head coach because he's a friend of mine from our Dragons days together. So I have no idea. It sounds like they're going to hire Aaron Glenn as the head coach, which I have no problem with. Former Jet player, and he's done a great job with the Lions defense. But as far as a GM goes, I I just don't know, and I don't even know. Even if you hire the best possible person, is he going to be allowed to do his job? That's the problem too.
Right. Before I get to the Bills Ravens, because your best friend and my old roommate Rob Friedman, he's got a lot of.
We try not to talk about him on the show.
The Islanders. The other night, I had to leave a little early as my son got ill. Probably from watching.
How's he doing? How is he doing?
Oh, he's doing much better. Thank you for
That's
asking.
good.
Now we got.
I was trying to wave. I was trying to wave to you from the suite.
Yeah, at that point we already had moved a little bit, but then we came back. I saw you. It was a little difficult to.
Yeah.
But thank you to Ticket Bash. We enjoyed ourselves, even though it was a short night.
Vinny always hooks you up.
Oh yeah. Now the Islanders, these next 6 games, they're crucial. This homestand, we got to get some points out of this thing.
I got to tell you something. I was going to bring this up earlier, and we were talking about Bob Uecker and the arena football stuff, and coming off of winning those 3 games on the road, Glenn, I could not have been more disgusted with what I saw at the Coliseum, at UBS Arena on Tuesday. I could not have been more disgusted. It was. To me, it was a disgraceful performance. You coming off of those 3 games. I mean, it was not a sellout crowd, but it was a big enough crowd that people were ramped up. Matt Martin gets into the fight in the first couple of minutes of the game.
Yeah.
You think the team is going to be all pumped up, and they just laid an egg, Glenn.
Right. The goalie was how many games did he play this year? Not many, right? He was a young guy.
Hogberg. Well, you're talking
I
about
meant for the,
Ottawa's goal.
Ottawa.
Ottawa's goal. Yeah. Yeah, he played like he was Ken Dryden.
Yeah, unbelievable. Now,
but they didn't generate nearly as much offense as they needed to.
No, God no. And on to this unbelievable game on Sunday. Now, I heard some other show say, like, the loser of this game. Wow. I mean, that is just not even thinking about who's going to win. But the loser, I mean, you have Lamar and Rob Freeman will be looked at and said, what is going on? How many years Lamar Jackson's going to lose the big one?
Oh,
and
Glenn, you have no idea how badly I am rooting for the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Because, as you know, my friend Rob is the biggest fraud sports fan walking God's green earth. This is a man who went to Jets training camp with me every day at Hofstra. This is a man who went to the balcony at the Marriott Marquis at the NFL Draft and helped me boo the pick of Johnny Mitchell. This is a man who... Wait a minute, yes. This is a man who shared Jet season tickets with me. And this is a man who moved to Baltimore to be with his lovely wife. He raised a wonderful family there in Baltimore. But this is a man who threw the Jets under the bus and began rooting for the Baltimore Ravens. And it sticks in my craw that this man has celebrated 2 Super Bowls with the Ravens, and now
I can attest in 1986 when I was his roommate, and the Jets had that great game against the Dolphins. I mean, I don't remember if we were watching it together. I can't remember, but he was bleeding green that whole year.
Oh, he's a fraud! Come on, it's disgusting already. It really is. And the Jets are playing in Baltimore next year, and me and my family would like to go to boy. That would you talk about, and to this day, Glenn, the greatest moment that I've ever had at a Jets game, I would think, was going to see the Jets beat the Dolphins in Miami in 1991, the last game of the season.
Right, I remember it well.
The winner of that game.
I was living in Orlando at the time. Actually, I remember that game.
What were you doing in Orlando?
I lived there for a few years after college.
How did I not know this? But anyway, so Raul Allegre hits the field goal in overtime, and the Jets win. If we go to Baltimore, my family and I go to Baltimore next year, and the Jets are at least hopefully somewhat decent, and they go in there, and they beat the Baltimore Ravens. Do you know how happy I would be? Do you realize how happy I would be, Glenn?
I think you might be even more happy if the Bills win at this Sunday.
Oh, that first things first. We have to have Josh Allen, Bills Mafia, all that stuff. They have to win. And Glenn, I have to let you go because I got to take care of some more business before we walk
congratulations on the new gig with the arena.
Well, I don't have a new gig yet. I was just a consultant through the press conference yesterday, but stay tuned.
All right. Best of luck. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Glenn. Happy New Year. It is time for This Week in Sports History. Really quick.
Well, on this week in 1988, after a quarter century in the River City, the St. Louis Football Cardinals, better known over there as Big Red to differentiate from the baseball team that more people think of, decided to relocate to Phoenix, Arizona, and become the Phoenix Cardinals. They didn't become the Arizona Cardinals until 1984.
Right, they were Phoenix first, yes.
Yes. And, while Big Red had its fans in the River City in St. Louis, they were not successful. Their entire time there, they didn't win a single playoff game. They were always overshadowed by their NFC East rivals. Yes, that's right. They were part of the NFC East.
Right.
And they were
St. Louis Cardinals were in the NFC East.
And they were still in the NFC East up until the realignment in 2002. So they were in Phoenix, Arizona, and still part of the NFC East, just like how the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints were in the NFC West, and the Buccaneers were in the NFC Central. And they didn't win their first playoff game in over 5 decades until 1998 on the road against the Cowboys. They got throttled by the Vikings.
What wound up happening was, I don't mean to cut you off, what wound up happening, what was the reorganization that the NFL did that got the Cardinals out of the East and out to the West?
Well, I'll tell you straight up. It's because they added the Houston Texans. They insisted it would be in the AFC, and the Cowboys wanted to stay in the NFC East with their rivalry because the Cardinals knew that as a team in the NFC East, they were very far away, and they didn't have much connection between the other ones. They said, let's be part of the NFC West. We'll form a new rivalry. And they decided to also put the Seahawks, move them from the AFC over to the NFC.
I knew the answer to the question. I just wanted to make sure
and
I knew what the answer
also
was.
The Colts, which the Colts were in the AFC East. Yeah. They decided to put them in the new South with the Jaguars and Titans, who were from the Central, and the new Texans team. And they also decided that because of law, the Browns were still with the Steelers and the Bengals. They decided to put the Ravens there because of less of a connection between the old AFC East teams. And not only that, the black and blue division was settled without the Buccaneers, so they decided to be part of the South with the 3 former West teams that didn't have much association with the Rams or the Niners.
I think that was one of my favorite This Week in Sports Histories, or This Day in Sports Histories at the old show that you've ever done.
Oh, I appreciate it. But there's the second part to this.
I didn't ask a second part. I got to move on. I got to get out of here.
Well,
Tony charges by the minute when we go overtime.
It still, I would say, was not as bad as seeing the Rams leave because both, like the Cardinals, they were in a previous location, except they came back to LA, and now the people of St. Louis have been almost a decade without a team, and I feel so bad for that city.
You see, now it ruined it, because that went from being one of my favorite segments to now that's being a little average there. I'm just busting your chops. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Today's question: what should the name be for the new arena football team at Nassau Coliseum that begins play in the ENTFLA this June? Of course, selfishly, the Dragons is one of the choices. Express, the Saints, or other. Comment below. Of course, Glenn picked Bash. A couple others have already voted. Comment other online. What's your choice?
If they can get the name the Dragons. If they can't, Long Island Sound.
You like Long Island Sound? Very nice. Tony, what do you think? If it's not the Dragons.
I'm serious. I like Glenn's idea.
You like the Bash?
I do like the Bash.
Yeah. I'll have to bring that to ownership. We'll see. We'll see what happens. By the way, the Living Legends item of the week. They sponsor the poll question of the day, and it's a Rangers framed photo signed by Mike Richter, Adam Graves, Brian Leach, and Mark Messier. I have less than zero interest in having that item in my house. In fact, if Warren Heller at Living Legends dropped that item off on my doorstep, I would immediately, I wouldn't throw it in the garbage. I would just give it off to somebody who's a Ranger fan. But I would want to keep it like outside somewhere, not let it get into my house. I'm looking at it on delay now on the screen. I would not want that at all near me. Would you?
I did love that Rangers team. I did, because they,
Are you kidding
back
me?
then, because they hadn't won in such a long time.
Who gives a crap?
That was fun to watch. I am an Islander fan, but that was fun to watch.
Now you're in my friend Rob territory, where we're going to start labeling you a fraud.
I didn't switch over or anything. But I did enjoy watching them. They were a great team. You can't deny that. Richter was.
Listen. I can admit it. I don't have to like it. Well, I vomited that
I'm not
night.
saying you have to like it. I'm just saying you can't argue with the fact that they were a great team.
Whatever.
Just like the Yankees.
Whatever.
It's like my dad.
I try to get through a show without a Ranger mention, but I had to do it because it was the item of the week. Really quick, I want to close with this. Yesterday, not only was it a big day for me, a big day for my whole family because we were so happy arena football is back, but my son, Jared, had a day to remember yesterday. He gets called up to the starting lineup for his high school bowling team at MacArthur, and check this out. I caught this video of one of his strikes yesterday. Right after the press conference, got there in time to see this strike. How about that shot? There you go. And a little fist pump right there, right? Let's watch it. Oh, can we watch it again?
Oh, yeah.
It's worth watching one more time.
There it is.
Come on. There it is. There it is. Boom. Right down there. Nice form. A little fist pump. I love it. Good job. Then he goes home, rests a little bit, and in frigid temperatures, him and the Express, he's wearing number 72. Had some great scoring chances last night. There you see him. I like that picture. I may frame that one in the house. A couple other ones with him around the net. Good job last night, Jared. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that he had a busy day. Great sports day for him. Great sports day for our family. Coming up Tuesday on Sports Bash, I'll be joined by Matthew Blittner. He has co-authored a new book. I forgot to bring it with me because we could have shown it, but I forgot. We'll post it with Russ Cohen called Game Winners, the greatest game-winning goals in hockey history. And can you guess, Wiz, why I like this book?
Guessing it involves numerous Islanders.
There are numerous Islander goals in this book, and I cannot wait to talk to Matthew on the show about this on Tuesday. That will do it for this edition of Sports Bash. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club. Thanks to Wiz, who got stumped again this week in sports history. Thanks to Judy Batista for joining me here on the show. Sports Bash is presented by Ticketbash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Living Legends Memorabilia in Rockville Center, by Bearcat Billing Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew of today, it is 3. Thank you for watching. Sports Bash returns Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everyone.